You ever wonder if something were to happen to you or if you were in a dangerous situation, would you have the courage to do what you needed to do to survive? A lot of us think that we would step up to the plate and rise to the occasion should we need to protect ourselves or protect our loved ones. But the reality is, if you're not asserting yourself in your everyday life, you're not going to magically be able to stand up for yourself, physically protect yourself, and do what you need to do to keep yourself and your loved ones safe. So, self-defense starts in your everyday life. Self-defense is not just about learning some cool moves, learning how to punch somebody, learning how to kick somebody, learning how to block punches. It's much more complicated than that, but it's also much more simple than that. Self-defense boils down to your willingness to defend every aspect of yourself. That means defend your honor. That means defend your energy. That means defend your health. That means defend everything. And the cool part about it is that you can practice defending yourself on those smaller scenarios where the stakes are lower, and that will prepare you to be able to defend yourself should you need to physically defend yourself. So self-defense anywhere needs to be self-defense everywhere. If you're not defending yourself on the small things, you won't defend yourself on the big things. It's important to demand your energy, demand your respect, demand that you're being treated correctly, demand that you're not being mistreated. And a lot of people let these small things slide and let things happen in their lives and let people do things to them, and then think that all of a sudden, if they have to defend themselves or have to defend a loved one, that they're gonna magically muster up the courage to do so. And that's just not the case. We have to practice self-defense in all aspects of our lives. We have to practice self-defense at the job. If you feel like that you deserve a raise, you need to go into your boss's office and demand that raise. If we feel like we're being mistreated in our relationships, if we don't like the way people talk to us, we have to be willing to speak up for ourselves. If we're not willing to defend ourselves on the small things, we're almost guaranteed to not be willing to defend ourselves if our safety was on the line. So that's why it's very important to practice self-defense all across the board. Self-defense isn't just about learning some cool punches and kicks and training and being in good shape and sparring and all of that stuff. Self-defense is a mindset that believes that you are valuable enough to be defended, that your opinions matter, that your energy matters, that your health matters. If you're not defending your well-being by putting good food into your body, if you're not defending your health by exercising, if you're not defending your time by not wasting it and spending it on things that are not getting you where you need to go, then you won't defend your physical body if it's in harm's way. Self-defense has to apply all the way across the board. So many situations where we let things slide, where we don't speak up when something happens that we don't like, when we allow people to speak to us in any way, when we don't have the courage to demand that we're respected. All of those things are going to translate over if you needed to defend yourself physically. But those small situations are also opportunity to practice defending yourself. We can't let things that interrupt our energy, that interrupt our vibe, we can't let those things go down. We have to defend ourselves all the way from physically defending ourselves from harm to defending ourselves from a conversation that we don't want to have. For speaking up for ourselves and having those difficult conversations that need to happen. To make sure we are being treated correctly in our relationships. To make sure that we're being treated correctly at work. To make sure that we're not letting people run all over us. We're not letting people speak to us in any which way that they want to. All of these things are important when we're talking about self-defense. You're not going to all of a sudden muster up the courage and the strength to prevent someone from doing something to you if you're not willing to prevent someone from saying something to you. If you're not willing to prevent someone from treating you in a way that you don't deserve to be treated. In order for self-defense to be present, when you need it, it has to be present all the time. You have to live a self-defense lifestyle. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going around and bullying people, or even it doesn't mean that you're going around and being mean. And the cool part about it is that when you make it a habit to speak up for yourself, when you do so, you actually get used to doing it. And it's not an emotional thing that triggers fears and discomfort. You get used to it and you get better at doing it. You can literally tell somebody to go screw themselves with the biggest smile on your face and in the nicest way possible. Because I know a lot of people, I would say at the root of our apprehension in speaking up and asserting ourselves is that we want to avoid a confrontation. But when we practice speaking up for ourselves, we teach ourselves how to do so in a very non-confrontational manner. And if it's necessary for it to become a confrontation, then so be it. But our awareness of the, mood of the situation becomes heightened. We know how to say the right things in the right way to get our point across and to avoid a confrontation if we can. So, again, if you're not asserting yourself in your everyday life, You're not going to all of a sudden be able to assert yourself if your life and your safety and your livelihood depended on it. You're not going to be, if you can't speak up for yourself, you can't speak up for anyone else. A lot of parents believe that if something were to happen to my child, I don't defend myself, but I'm willing to defend my child. I don't think so. Because your child is an extension of you. Your child is a representation of you. So we have to apply the principles of defending ourselves all the way across the board, with no exceptions. People think that they're going to be able to step up and rise to the occasion if something were to happen to them or if someone was trying to physically do them harm. But that's just not the case. If you can't prevent someone from mistreating you on a non-physical level, when it gets physical, what makes you think that anything would change? But again, these smaller situations, these less dire situations, these less dangerous situations are perfect for practicing your ability to assert yourself. Because you're going to have to be able to do it on a smaller level if you want to be able to do it on a bigger level. So yes, defending yourself is very, very important. And being able to physically defend yourself is very, very important. But if self-defense is not applied everywhere, it won't be applied anywhere. All right, guys, gotta run. Coach Sully, Reps and Sweat Martial Arts and Fitness. This was Mat Chat.